Hey everybody, it's Alex Miller at Capneon here. I hope you're staying warm out there. It's kind of cold across the country. You may have read about Stargate in the news today. I wish we were talking about the sci-fi franchise because I'm a big fan, but it's actually a large joint venture to build artificial intelligence infrastructure. And the notable participants in this joint venture are SoftBank, Oracle, and OpenAI. So I'm going to talk about the basic facts of this news story and then drop a few little bits of analysis I think are important and you might not otherwise read in the newspaper. So the announced headline price tag is $500 billion. The point is to invest in AI infrastructure. Well, what does that mean? It hasn't been announced in detail, but they can only mean at that kind of price tag and given the technological constraints that they want to build some blend of data centers and chip manufacturing facilities. The chip manufacturing facility thing comes up a whole lot these days. It requires pretty massive scale to make hot new chips at anything like financial efficiency. So that's a big price tag. And then there's a lot of pressure to keep that in the United States or somewhere that is friendly with the United States, contra competition from China, and costs a lot of money. So that's item number one. There's these new fancy chips you need. They're expensive to make. You need a lot of scale, financial scale, to get the technical scale. It's also true that AI just requires a lot of computing power to run, and it's already proceeding very quickly. Various actors standing up data centers all over the country to host your favorite AI chatbot. So the other probably major area that money is going to go is building more, bigger, more efficient data centers to host AI models and keep you up to date using your favorite LLM or image creation software or whatever else is around the next bend. All right, so I'd like to point out a few things about this venture. I think first, it's very interesting to note when international confrontation about balance of trade is very much in the air. SoftBank is a Japanese company that has long invested in American startups. You may have heard of the Vision Fund, which is a SoftBank-backed project, one of the major investors in WeWork, for example. And to make everything slightly more Byzantine, they raised a lot of that money for the Vision Fund from the Saudi Arabian Sovereign Wealth Fund. So while the main headline about this venture is very much Go America, and I believe the money is likely to be invested in the United States, well, this money is actually coming from all over the world to some degree. And a lot of it is coming from this very notable long-time, vaguely Japanese or maybe Saudi Arabian source of cash that likes to invest in technology. I think another thing worth noting is, well, what is the big danger? What is the big counterforce that could slow down all this momentum to make these massive investments in AI? You can already see NIMBY, not in my backyard, like forces swirling around the data center phenomenon. Data centers are often in rural areas. They often import a lot of their own talent from elsewhere. So it's really not the economic growth that a lot of people wanted. You live in some sleepy small town or ex-urban area. A huge warehouse opens in the woods next to you that gobbles up all your electricity. And people are starting to get grumpy about this. And I expect over the coming years, this grumpiness will congeal into something more politically effective. And if I got out of a time machine in 10 years and you told me that the AI wave had hit a populist political wall and we weren't building data centers anymore, I would guess it's just that people in the United States, while they like to have economic activity in America, all agreed that they didn't want it next to them. And this is something that's going to unfold over the coming years, and we're going to learn a lot about how potent these NIMBY forces are. Another thing that I think is worth noting in this Stargate project, it's supposed to be an independent venture. Well, how is it going to be governed? It's partly owned by OpenAI, which has had its own governance problems. It started out as a not-for-profit. It is trying to mutate into a for-profit company. It almost imploded once, vaguely, supposedly because of tensions related to these governance issues. That's one party that's supposed to coordinate with other parties to govern this new venture. If you look at Oracle's always had a tense relationship with the other big tech companies. And then, of course, behind OpenAI is Microsoft, with whom they have a very intimate relationship. And Microsoft has already started tweaking their deal, reportedly, with OpenAI, because OpenAI is now in bed with these other rivals to Microsoft in this very particular way. So governance in the AI space on the cutting edge is often a little bit weird, and I expect governance to be much more a part of the narrative of what happens in the coming years than we're used to, exactly because of this. So to recap, some major forces in technology got together and are pledging $500 billion to invest in AI infrastructure. There's a little bit of insinuation, mostly in the United States. Money actually comes from all over the world. Gonna be great for AI, probably gonna stoke some backlash-like forces. Do people all want a data center next door to their house? And then in the end, how is all this stuff going to be governed? A lot of key actors are structured in unusual ways. There's already been a lot of turbulence. The flowchart of who has leverage over whom has gotten a little weird. I think, just a closing thought, you can also read into that the price tag is so high. Part of why things have gotten very Byzantine is there's just not very many actors in the whole world that can write these kind of checks. And you've seen me discuss elsewhere, OpenAI is kind of in this position where, while everything is going great, they're not remotely profitable. And to keep playing the game that they're playing, more and more money is going to have to come from somewhere. And I think it's worth noticing that the money for Stargate is really coming from all over the world. And is that sustainable? And to the extent that it's not, well, what is the new thing that comes after it? These are all very long-term stories to watch, by the way, and I encourage you to watch them.